Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and glad to be back with you doing another show of Note of Facts. Last couple of shows were shows I did earlier, and I apologize for that, but hey, things come up. What are you going to do? This show is going to bring to light the killings in the schools of these innocent little beautiful children and what's wrong with these kids who do it. And you might not like what I got to say, but if you don't like it, put a pillow between you, two pillows on each ear, or go out and run in traffic, or go take a ride and listen to the radio, because it's the damn truth. Because I had plenty of time to do researching, and I mean, I did my researching too. Brings to life shooting up the churches, schools and churches. These kids are not able to be educated, so let them go, which proves schools around the country now. I'm not saying just Shrewsbury, Texas, Florida, whatever. There's a movement around the country that all the schools are going down a drain. I don't know what it's from. I don't know what it's from. If it's the system itself, the administrative staff, the teachers, or whatever. But we're having a very serious problem in all the schools. Very serious problem. And never be able to educate kids. For example, the Lanza kid made statements in the school about doing what he was going to do. He was completely ignored by principals and teachers, deliberately. In all schools, this happens. These kids, they get disgusted and they go tell people what they're going to do, and they're completely ignored. Why? Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? It's not a joke. It's not a joke. These threats have to be looked at and checked out, and not by only the police. The police got their hands full as it is. And talk about police. When are we building a new police station instead of a new build school and another jerky water treatment plant that we don't need because of this rotten school system in this town? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Go ahead. Vote for a new build school. Watch your money go down the drain. Who the hell cares? Ignored by, they don't care about anything, as that if it's a joke. If you research all the kids who shoot and kill because of rotten education, they get everything will come to light. Their resentment to the school systems will only prove that they had a severe mental problem, and the school system made it worse. Research it. It's easy to research it. All you got to do is call the Department of Education. You can call the numbers around the country. If you have an almanac, they have numbers, toll-free numbers in the almanac. Or see your local, don't see your local politicians, because they'll tell you the opposite. The schools are doing wonderful, but they really are not. You'll find out about the truth. Their emotional problems were brought on by poor leadership and teachers who don't care, and principals who don't care. The Florida principal was with a kid outside, heard the shooting, and stayed outside when the shots were fired. He stayed outside when the shots were fired. How's that? And he had a handgun. How's that? And there was 42 memos, memos that he was going to do it, and they were all totally ignored. If you want to see beautiful kids get killed, go ahead. I'll go stand in a school and watch and see what happens. You think I'm afraid of a goddamn gun? You people are probably, you're chicken-hearted. Sawyer would be outside the school doing nothing too. And the rest of that stupid school committee. All a bunch of jerks. They just don't care anymore. Shrewsbury gets a check from the special needs money to help the kids. They spend it all. These poor parents go up to the school with their kid who needs help and everything. And whoever is in charge says, we don't have any more money left. Well, of course, they spent it all. That's the problem. And what's this new town manager doing? Giving money we get from Boston for cleaning up Jordan Pond and other issues in town and giving it to the school department. These people are deranged. These people are all deranged and sick. They don't care about your child. Get that in your skull. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Stayed outside when shots were fired. The news media presented certain facts about he was carrying a pistol, and not as Dr. Sawyer would do. It could happen. Please keep close contact with your kids. Make sure they are treated right. The school department and teachers, some might respond and others will hide. Make sure the kids are with you. They're getting more and more out of hand. You cannot blame Trump for this, but blame the schools who don't care. Ha ha ha. Act upon matters at hand. Keep in contact with your kids who have a problem. Don't overlook it. These kids must be educated somewhere, somehow. To change the subject, but it follows the matter. Certain teachers wanted to give a special needs kid Ritalin. This special committee they got down in this thing here. Get a 6-year-old kid Ritalin. And they were badgering the mother to give the kid Ritalin. The kid has autism and ADHD because he wouldn't look at the blackboard. Well, maybe there was nothing to look at. Maybe the teacher was doing nothing. Did you ever think of that? Did you ever think of that? All these teachers know how to do is go to the good kids who God bless them all the kids who don't have any devastating diseases or problems, and take care of them. And all these kids with special needs, they get thrown behind a line. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And that's a proven fact because parents have seen it. Parents have seen it right in front of their own eyes. And they go to the teacher and say, why aren't you paying attention to my son? And the teacher says, yeah, I'll take care of it. I'll look at your son or your daughter when I have a chance. They never do. They never do. And don't think Shrewsbury's exempt from having a situation like we've been having around the country, Florida, Texas, wherever, San Francisco, wherever. Shrewsbury is in line for something devastating to happen. There's no question about it. There's no question about it. You're going to find a kid who was thrown out of school because of the poor leadership the town of Shrewsbury and the teachers and the principals gave this kid. Probably nothing but mouth service. A kid who's afflicted, and they're yelling at him. I mean, come on, give me a break here. He don't deserve that. He deserves some understanding. Start a school. Make a school. Use Bill's school for special needs children. And get some qualified teachers who care about special needs children. And keep asking, go up to the school department and ask them where the special needs money is. They won't tell you. What? That Dale Evans there, whatever his name is, I don't know, that on the school committee, one with the glasses, the doctor. He got a new Corvette. What the hell did he buy that with? Special needs money? The little twerp. That's all he is, a liar and a little twerp. I'm getting sick of this. They wanted to force the mother to consent to that poison. The side effects of that is devastating. Devastating. I called up 2 research labs, and I got reports on that, but I could take 3 hours, and you people don't want to hear me for 3 hours. I know you don't. You're lucky you're hearing me now, whoever's listening, and I really don't care who's listening. The effects are devastating. I went to 4 vitamin stores, and there are natural vitamins that you can take, a kid could take, with no side effects, with no harmful effects, that'll make the boy or girl a very, very happy person. And it'll keep them in line, and it'll make them feel good. A natural substance. A natural substance. I'll say it again. A natural substance that'll make them feel good instead of that rotten Ritalin. I've heard stories about what Ritalin can do to kids. And boy, I'll tell you, it's terrible. Terrible, 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 terrible. The disgusting display of education happens in Shrewsbury. There are natural vitamins that help 100%, no effects, no after effects. These kids this kid was not paying paying attention to the blackboard because she was probably not teaching something that he could understand. The teacher crossed the line. She should be fired, and the superintendent submit his resignation. And also more good residents who want answers and the money is pocketed and spent on foolish things that the school department want to do. One stupid thing I can think of is the damn grass. What, does grass educate your children? You tell me, does grass educate your child? I got an email for here. I hope it's on the TV. Write me something on the email. Whether you hate me or like me or do what you want. I could care less. People don't understand. You brought your kids into the world. You're trying to educate them. You try to give them a future. And God, forgive me for saying this, God bless them all. They're beautiful kids. Say some of these kids have a problem and they're overlooked and they're ridiculed, and the teachers and the principals and whoever is in the school craps all over them, and all they know how to say, we're going to have a meeting with this special committee about special needs. And, your child should be on Ritalin. That's good for him. How the hell do they know? None of them are in the medical field. None of them are in the medical field at all. None of them. They should be whipped and thrown out of town, too. People, wake up. They are not helping you, but thinking of ways not to talk to act like human beings. Instead, complete jerks. The so-called doctor on the school committee only worries about his Corvette. I already said that, and I'll say it 100 more times. How did he pay for that? People of Shrewsbury, go to the school and see how your special needs money are being used for education. What these 9 parents that I have in contact with that had to talk to the kids in Boston for an education. They were in the 5th and 6th grade, and excuse me, I gotta see this. This could be President Trump. No, it isn't. It's a guy close to him. It's from Washington, D.C. I called this morning. And the people in Boston only came to the conclusion an assessment of these poor kids had a 1st and 2nd grade education. Why? Why? Tell me why. Damn the school and what they stand for, nothing. They get away with murder and the people who love them. You people who love them and donate them. You people are sicker than they are. You people are sicker than the school department. Donate to a school that spends money like water, that don't even have enough money to help a special needs child, boy or girl, whatever. That's where the money should go. That's where you're getting the money from Boston. That's going to stop. I'll make damn sure of that. I got an uncle in Washington, D.C. that's a congressman, and I'll make sure he gets off his rear end and does something about it. Believe me when I tell you. People are a bunch of jerks. You're better off listening to crooks, spies, and letting secret paperwork go to our enemies. Giving money to our enemies. That's Hillary Jailbird Clinton does, and her girlfriend, the so-called Indian liar, phony, Elizabeth Warren, who seems to be out of the ruining the United States, and her and Clinton go to jail together. The Congress Senate is afraid of Trump because he's getting things done, whether they're involved or not. Like it or not, the Democrats are stonewalling the Republicans about anything and everything. And some school department change their choice from Democrats to Republicans. Why they do that? Why did they do that? To make themselves look better in front of everybody? And I imagine they professed it after they voted. Oh, I'm a Republican. I voted Republican. Well, aren't you somebody special? Who cares what you did? And they're miserable people who don't want to help you and take 2-hour coffee breaks first thing in the morning, and during work again, get them out of there and start a petition. Get them out of there. Start a petition about closing their jobs. everyone there instead of Sawyer, who hides behind filing cabinets. He won't have to talk to parents. What a disgusting group of know-nothing people. People who buy coffee. Does that come out of special needs also? Cups, milk, cream, sugar, in the coffee? If it does, I hope you end up in hell. Excuse me. There are no honor in being hateful. There's no honor in being hateful. If you think so, you're demented. You should be in special needs and see what it's like. Also, and the employment office, retire these people out of the school department. They all sit there. You go there and you sit there and they're talking about, oh, I bought a car, I bought a house, I bought this, I bought that, with a cup of coffee in their hand, as usual. They got so much they don't do any work. They just talk about stupid things. There's too many of them up there, too. There's too many of them up there. At least young people act like they care. They come out. But the next time I go there, call the police because I want answers. And I will go with there from Boston, and I know enough people by now they cannot believe the crap people who have to take from people like, if you had enough people like here, if you have had enough and enough, I will do everything in my power to find out why and when it's going to be over. What about the poor, devastated parents who will never see their kids again, except at a marble marker? Did you ever think of that? That alone should be an inspiration to do your job. Because do you really care? I don't think so, but who knows? Pray for the kids and the parents. It's a shame. The poor parents have to go through the rest of their life without their precious little child because of some maniac who was non-educated the right way, have a gun, a rifle, and then go into a school and start shooting everything. And the way I understand it, again, the school had a button to let people in. So you add that to 200 other schools or whatever. How did these kids with rifles get into the schools? And I think some of them have cameras on the front door. How do they get by the front door with a rifle in their hand? A rifle's not a toothpick. How do they get by there? Something is very, very wrong in this country, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. It's getting more devastating. Even the poor police get shot, and they're trying to uphold justice and do everything right and stand for the good and keep everything peaceful. And those poor guys get killed. For what reason? Trying to deter a kid who's got a severe problem presented and given by the school department in the city or town they're in. That's disgusting. And then over this past week, a 22-year-old girl in Winchester, she was going to be a doctor. She was in a library, and she got stabbed with a 10-inch hunting knife from some other kid who was demented. What the hell are you people sitting by for? Go to the schools and pay attention to what's going on. If you have a special needs children, go to the school anyway and see what they're doing. This isn't Russia. You can go to the school. What, are you afraid you're going to get thrown out? I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid at all. Let them try to throw me out. You got to start paying attention to what's going on in this town and in every other town. It's going to happen here. I don't want to say it again, but it's going to happen here sooner or later. You're going to get some kid who probably graduated 2 or 3 years ago, a year ago, whatever. Can't get a job. He can't get recognized for anything. And he tries to show his paperwork from the school to different companies at different places and all that. And they're going to say to him, you have no education whatsoever. What'd you come to us for? And what do you think he's going to do? What do you think that kid's going to do? Be happy and sing a song on the way out? No. He's going to be very, very resentful of the school system. And he might do what I don't want to say he's going to do. You never know. But it's happening around the country. It's happening around the country. So I'm saying, pay attention. Pay attention to the kids in the school. If you pick up your kid, pay attention to the kids in the yard. See if one kid looks depressed or he's having a panic attack or whatever, and report him to the school department. No, don't even do that. Report him to the police and make sure they take care of him because he's got a legitimate problem. We don't want any more killings. We don't want any more killings. There's too many beautiful little children in this world. And those poor kids, they didn't deserve that. They're up in heaven with God. God's taking care of them. Thank God for that. And they're not hurting. They're having a good time. And their parents on earth here are looking at their picture. They're in an easy chair and crying their eyes out. Why did it happen to my son or daughter? So pay attention. Keep it in the back of your mind what's going on in these schools. And go to the schools and see what they're doing to your kids. See how they're educating your children. And listen to half of what the teacher says. Don't listen to all of what she says, because it ain't going to come true. It's not going to come true. These different groups they start about your kid's going to be on Ritalin and all this other crap. That's a lot of baloney. That is a lot of baloney. There's no such thing as that. They don't have to be on Ritalin. There's a natural substance. There's 4 natural substances that take care of mental and physical problems, and watching them when they go to school and taking care of them, and keep them in touch with the teacher and monitor the blackboard and take care of them. They're natural substances. They don't cost that much, and there's no after effects. They sleep, they eat good, they work good, they try, and the teacher should have no complaints. But they will, though. The teacher will have some complaint. They'll make up stories. They'll make up stories about it. And as far as the special needs money, to you school department people, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't use it on that stupid plant for grass. How stupid can a school system be, using money to plant grass? Paint the damn grass green, if that's the case. You people are really sick, really disturbed. I've been telling people all over Massachusetts what you plan on doing, and they give me this look and say, "What are they deranged? What about education?" Oh, they don't educate kids in Shrewsbury. All they know how to do is profess and say this is the best town around. It's not the best town around. It's not the best town around. The taxes are going up. All the rates are going up. Pretty soon you won't be able to live in Shrewsbury. There's people in this town who moved to Shrewsbury, and 3 months later they're moving out because they can't take the pressures of all the taxes and all the bills and all the crap they get from the town. So use your head. You people who are big shots, millionaires, you don't care. Donate your money to that rotten library and the rotten school department. Go ahead. The daycare center is doing great because they can't keep ahead of the diapers and all the bottles and all the changing tables. Why should they? It's a library. It's not a daycare center, but it is in this town. It's a daycare center in this town. Just go up there some morning and see what happens, and some afternoon after school, and you tell me what goes on up there. Anybody with any brains and 2 eyes and a brain and a head can see what goes on up there. It's not a library. It's not a library. It's a daycare center. The parents leave their kids there and say, "I'll be back in 3 or 4 hours. Can you watch my child?" And they said, "Sure, sure." And that person is supposed to be helping people in the library. But no, they're babysitters. They're babysitters. And they don't care what they do either. So 3 or 4 things you got to do. Watch your children. Make sure they're all right. Go to school and talk to the dumb teacher. And if you see the principal up the school department, he won't talk to you. He'll hide behind a filing cabinet. And you'll see what I mean about all the women in the school department office. They just talk with coffee in their hand. And they're not doing any work pertaining to the school. They're talking about their new car, new house, new something. Then they just don't care. They just don't care. Go talk to that down Parker Road on that special needs group they have. Go talk to them and ask them how things are going. Oh, they're going to say wonderful. They're not going wonderful. They're not going wonderful. I've talked to higher ups, not in the Shrewsbury school system, but in Boston. They get the actual report. And I know what's going on in there. I know what's going on in there. If I was to form a group against this school department, nobody would show up because you're all afraid. You're all afraid. You're all afraid what's going on here. What could happen to you? Why, you're afraid of your taxes going up? You're afraid your next door neighbor won't say hi to you? Who the hell cares? These poor little precious beautiful children need more than love. They need attention. They need affection. They need everything. And take care of these poor little beautiful children. These poor parents who were devastated around the country with their children being shot. I can only tell you, my heart goes out to them. It's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. Go to church and say a prayer for them. Light a candle for them. It's terrible what's going on. It's terrible. Bad enough adults get shot and police get shot. But poor little innocent children by some nut who wasn't properly educated and they overlooked them. They says, we can't educate them, so why should we talk to them? That's really good to say. They're probably saying that now in some school all over the country. Who the hell knows? But I'm just telling you what should be and what has to be. What has to be. Before it reaches Shrewsbury, pay attention to your children. I'll say it over and over again. Pay attention to your children. Make sure they're all right. Ask them questions when they get home. What did you learn today? And if they're in the 5th and 6th grade and they come home with scribbles all over the pad, that don't make any sense to anybody. That's nothing. That's absolutely zero. Zero. It's zero education. So thank you for listening. If you're not listening, I really don't care. But pay attention to your children. Have a good evening and good night. See you next time. And send me those emails too. Thank you.